Baba has given us the aim object to change from a human to a deity. And Baba says, who are deities? They are human beings with divine qualities. And humans have vices or devilish qualities. Now, we all want to move to a world of happiness, but the cause of sorrow is vices. And Baba says, if you conquer the vices and you fill yourself with divine qualities, then you can go to the world of happiness. And Baba says that the speciality of heaven is that it is a world of absolute happiness. There is no trace of sorrow. So everybody talks about heaven, but they don't know that heaven is a corporeal, is a part of the corporeal world. Heaven actually exists, and 5,000 years ago there was heaven, and in that world we lived in absolute happiness. But the most important thing is to go to heaven, to become a deity. And for that, I need divine qualities. Now, you see, there are 4 subjects of Raj Yoga: knowledge, yoga, inculcation of divine virtues, and then seva. All the children of Baba are listening to knowledge, right? Everybody is listening to the Murli. Then in that also, if somebody is not, then the first subject itself they have failed, right? Then there is yoga. Now Baba underlines the importance of yoga also, and although number wise we are trying to meditate and we are trying to have yoga, we are making effort. Are you making effort to have yoga? Yes. So the children who send their charts, so I can see that most children are getting up at Amrit Vela and they are sitting in yoga with Baba. They are also trying to pay attention to being in yoga throughout the day. Now, today we will talk about the 3rd subject, which is divine qualities. Now just ask yourself 2 questions. First, when I come into action, am I expressing devilish traits? Is lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed reflected in my karma and behavior? First question is that. Yes. Now, second question is, am I full of divine qualities? Yes. Now, how do you know whether there is lust or not? So, you need to check. So, lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed is also, you have to understand the signs of it. If you don't understand the signals, the signs, the indicators, then sometimes we think that, I'm free of vices. So let's take first let's take anger, because anger is easier to detect. Now you see, if I am coming into what Baba says, Josh and robe. So if I'm coming into, if I'm getting negatively excited, if I'm getting that Josh, so I get angry and worked up inside. Maybe even if I'm not speaking it, but there is a force inside when I see something, hear something, or something is not being done my way. And if I am showing, it's a good idea to be in authority, but then robe, showing somebody that, you should be afraid of my anger and you should be afraid of what I can do to you. So all that is a sign of anger. And you see that in this world, in Kali Yuga, anger is allowed to the rich and powerful and, elder, and so nobody will point it out to you. So I remember there was this one brother, and he told me that when I get angry on my child, I slap him. And he said, I'm in India, nobody can put me in jail for that. He's my child, I can slap him. So, and he, very funny, he made it sound like a joke that he's in India and nobody can put him in jail, so he's allowed to slap the child. So I said, but in India, grown-up children also beat their parents and nobody puts them in jail too. So you see, that's also happening in families. So I said, you have to make the choice you want. You want to beat the child and you want to be beaten in your old age, and it's your choice. You can make this choice. So what I'm trying to say is, we have this very casual attitude towards anger in the world, and if you are if you are the boss or you are a person of authority in any kind of setup you work, then you are allowed to speak bitterly and you are allowed to have that robe, that arrogance, and in your voice and in your body language, and nobody objects to it. Yes, even a person seeing it won't object to it. So, or you are talking to somebody who's working for you and you are pretty loud and bitter in your language, and even the person who is receiving it, most of the time they may feel hurt, but they don't mind it. So they also continue to be with you. So sometimes we don't understand whether there is anger or not, because it is not having any physical consequences. So most people, they tend to look inwards and introspect when a physical consequence comes up. But before that also you are engaging in that action and that immediate physical consequence is not coming up, but what Baba says, the unlimited consequences of karma and sanskar, they are being created. So do you check for anger? And sometimes anger will be expressed in silent treatment. So you're not saying anything, but then you're just expressing it silently, and there is a lot of thought going on inside, that this person is like this and that and the other, but you are not saying anything, because maybe you have been earlier discouraged from expressing your anger because the other person has reacted badly to it. So that's why you are giving the silent treatment. But the thing is, even if I'm not bringing it to action, the sanskar that I'm creating is that of anger. And can I go to Satyug with that sanskar? So in Satyug, will Lakshmi give silent treatment to Narayan, and will Narayan give silent treatment to Lakshmi? So that's not happening. So Baba says that check for anger, check for lust, even if somebody is not not physically engaging in vices, but being impressed is a sign of lust. So when you become impressed by somebody's looks, somebody's words, somebody's talent, somebody's quality, all of that is lust. So because it is being impressed by the physical body, and the bodily being. So all that is a sign of lust, and sometimes we don't understand this, and we think that, but if somebody has this sanskar, then if they are not engaging in lustful action, that's only because there is no opportunity. If there was opportunity, they would engage in lustful action. So these are signs of lust, or paying if your buddhi goes to your body and what you're wearing and how you're looking, and you're seeing yourself in the mirror 30 times, and you're seeing other people's appearances and basically your attention goes to how they are looking, how they are appearing. All those are signs of lust. And so there are many signs of lust, and one must know. So I remember there was this one Kanya, and she was so when she would be around Kumars, she would talk differently, very enthusiastically, and it would be an attempt to impress them. And when she was alone, she would be different. So your body language changes, everything changes, and that is because being impressed and trying to impress, these are also signs of lust. Why are you trying to impress? What do you want from the other? And how does it matter whether they are impressed with you or not impressed with you? So you see, in this world where lust is the primary vice, so you can see that everybody is being impressed and trying to impress, and all that is lust. And because of lust, we have to put in so much time, energy, thought in trying to impress. And why are you trying to impress everybody, with your act, with your work, with your look, with with so many things we are trying to impress? These are all signs of lust. And Baba says that you do everything on Shrimat, whether somebody is impressed or not shouldn't matter to you. And if you are doing it on Shrimat, then sooner or later, in the final moments at least, they will recognize that this soul did it on Shrimat. So don't worry about the short-term things that are happening, and do not get impressed by anybody. Whenever you see any quality in anybody, so then you must understand that this is a quality gifted by Baba. So I belong to Baba, I can have that quality. Why get impressed by that quality? So these are all signs of lust. And then you see, when there is this vision of lust, then you invest a lot of extra time, energy, thought into creating a relationship with that person. And when you are attracted to somebody, then you would think about them a lot, and your intellect will go there, to that dehadhari. So it could be attachment also, but attachment is with closer relationships. But sometimes even in closer relationships, what you're not doing, you're doing in relationships where there is lust. And I remember there was this one brother, and he came into Gyan, and he was not, so it looked like he is very detached, and he did not mind the objection of his wife or his family, and he was pretty okay with not giving time to anybody. And he always said that I'm following Srimat, so I'm not my intellect is not drawn to my family members. But then he said that he has a friend, and that friend, he even he uses extra power to tolerate in that relationship, and he uses extra time and extra attention to give to that soul. And then I told him, so is there some angle of lust in it? So he said, well, how can you say this, Didi? She's a friend, and she's not somebody. So I said, but you see, you didn't care about your sister and your brother whining and crying about you becoming a BK, and you were very, you were giving time to Baba, and you were giving time to Baba's seva, and you were following Baba's disciplines, and you didn't tolerate anyone, but you're using all these extra things for this one soul. So here you are tolerating everything and doing everything. So why? Because maybe there is, so he said that maybe she will become a BK. So I said, why do you think she has a greater chance of becoming a BK and not your family members? So sometimes, we don't understand what is driving me. And you see, if I'm really a sevadhari, then charity begins at home. So I would do my best to use all my virtues and powers so that I can influence the people around me and they become BKs. But if all my energy and all my attitudes of seva are going to one person, and I'm not a universal sevadhari, but I feel that all my gyan of seva is emerging in one place, then all that is a sign of lust. And sometimes, Brahmin children are not able to differentiate between these things. So these are signs of lust and anger. There are signs of greed. So if you feel loss too much, so whenever there is loss happening, so you get very happy in profit, you get disheartened in loss, then that's a sign of greed. And then if the desires that you have, they are, even in yoga, when you're sitting, desires are pulling you, or when you're talking to Baba, you're talking about your desires, then all that is a sign of greed. And then, stealing and hiding, these are signs of greed. So greed could be very little, stealing something and eating. And all that is greed, because you are doing something which you shouldn't do, and that's why you're hiding it. So I talked about some signs of the vices, and you must be able to discern whether you are vicious or not. And if you're coming into reactions, if you have the, if you have to prove something, zidd and siddh, if you're being very adamant about something that this should be done this way or this is the right way, or you are trying to, you're trying to have a debate with somebody and prove something, or you make it your, if somebody told you something, then you make it your life's purpose to prove it to the other person that you're wrong. All these are signs of arrogance. So how does it matter whether they get you or don't get you? It's okay if you made your effort, and if they think you are wrong and they are right, then why are you at discomfort? It's okay. They think you are wrong and they are right. You are not wrong and they are not right. So if somebody's thoughts, somebody's words, it provokes a reaction in you if you are not able to. And I remember there was this one brother, and he said, I have a tendency to back answer, I have to give it back to the other person. So whenever somebody tells me, I just feel like I have to give it back and I don't have to let it go. So all that is arrogance. Why do you have to give it back? And why can't you just tolerate it and absorb it? And I'm not saying that you don't say anything. You say it, but say it when saying it doesn't matter to you. Do you get it? So you say it because it's your duty to tell the truth, but don't say it if not saying it makes you uncomfortable. So if you have the urge to say it, then stop yourself from saying it. And if you have no urge to say it, then say it with love and politeness, and then it's part of communication. So you're just letting the other person know the facts. But the thing is, if you have the urge to say it and you think that you can't sleep without answering this person or making it clear to this person, then don't say it, and abstain and work on yourself and come to a place where you are okay whether whatever their opinion is or whatever their behavior is with you. So you must understand that these are signs of vices. And then what are virtues? So you see that there is a long list of at least 36 virtues that Baba gives us, and there is discipline, there is tirelessness, purity is the first one, then there is accuracy, there is introspection, there is sweetness, there is all these virtues are there, and you must have a list of your own and work on these virtues. Tolerance is a virtue, then being patient is a virtue. So there are so many virtues that Baba talks about. Now, not having vices is not equal to having virtues. So one subject is not having vices, second subject is inculcating virtues. So maybe I don't have lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, but do I have discipline? Do I introspect? Do I talk sweetly? Do I behave politely? Am I cheerful? Am I patient? Do I practice purity of mind, body, wealth? So this is another subject in which you have to check yourself. And I would like it if you submit, submit on WhatsApp or on YouTube, what virtues have you imbibed in this Brahmin life? So what are the virtues that are part of you now, and they are always part of your personality. So what virtues have you imbibed in life? And Baba says, how do you arrive at this, free from vices and in a state of virtues? So we must understand the method. You see, Baba gives us knowledge, Baba gives us yoga power. Now, knowledge makes you become aware that virtues are normal and natural, and vices are not normal, not natural. So, knowledge brings you that power of awareness, because if you believe that something is normal and natural, you cannot overcome it. And if you believe that something is unnatural, you can't imbibe it. If you believe that somebody can't be happy always, it's not possible to be cheerful always, then can you be cheerful always? You can never be, because your belief system decides how you behave. So that's why you need power of knowledge, because it changes your belief system. And Baba tells us that keep churning the knowledge of the 84 births. Yes, why? Because the more you churn the knowledge of your 84 births, you arrive at this awareness that I am this deity soul, and all the divine virtues are very natural to me. So you need the power of awareness, you need smriti ki shakti. So that power of awareness comes from revising knowledge, reflecting on knowledge, churning the Swadershan Chakra, the cycle of 84 births. And you see that when we came to Baba, we thought that it's impossible to be pure. Purity is, in the world, what do people say? If you want to be pure, they say it's unnatural. Nobody can stay pure. But when we come to Baba and we keep listening to Gyan, then have you seen that shift in attitude? That you start feeling it inside, that purity is natural and normal, and I have a sanskar of impurity which I have to change. And that shift happens through the power of knowledge. So, in order to arrive at divine virtues, first thing you do is pay attention to knowledge. Churn the Swadershan Chakra, churn the knowledge of your beginning, middle and end. Then second thing is you need yoga power, because when you sit in Baba's remembrance, then the sins of 63 births are absolved. And when those sins are absolved, then the divine virtues emerge, because the sins are the upper layer right now. And when those are burnt in yoga power, then all the divinity and purity inside emerges. Now, you are paying attention to both these subjects, but still you have to pay attention to bringing divine virtues into action and abstaining from vices. So let me give you an example. So let's say if somebody is an engineer and they know how to engineer something, how to build something, they know how to design something, and they know how to do the work. And they have the capacity to do the work, they have the knowledge to do the work. But if they don't do the work, then does the capacity and the knowledge come to action? No. So, knowledge tells you what to do, what is your capacity. Yoga gives you the capacity, but then when you come into action, you have to exercise these capacities. And for that, you need a little attention, you need a little determination. So let's say I'm meditating every day. So I have the capacity to be sweet, without doubt. But if I don't plan to be sweet, if I have not decided in the morning that today I want to behave like the master ocean of love, I have to talk sweetly, I have to behave sweetly, and I don't pay attention to it all day, then can I invoke that divine virtue? So the thing is, somebody who has no knowledge will never make this attempt. Somebody who has no yoga power, even if it tries to make that attempt to be sweet, they won't be able to, because no capacity. But I have the knowledge, I have the capacity, but I have to still make that attempt with a resolute thought that today I want to be an embodiment of this divine virtue, and I have to pay attention all day. And it requires just a little attention to to maintain that virtue all day. But if I don't pay attention, then I finish my murli, I finished my yoga, and then I set out for the day and I'm using my old sanskars all day, because I'm not paying attention. I'm not living consciously. So having yoga, having knowledge is one thing, and then living consciously is a very important aspect of this practice of Raj Yoga. So, and when you pay attention, and then you see sometimes you will figure out when you pay attention that you are not able to be sweet even when you plan to be. Then you think about what aspect of knowledge have you not imbibed, and is there lack of power of yoga? When you pay attention, let's say you are able to be sweet with everybody, but not with one particular person. Then the problem is that you have the capacity to be sweet, but you don't have soul conscious drishti. When you're seeing this person, then you are not seeing that person as a soul, you are seeing them as, in their old name and old relationship. So you have not imbibed the knowledge that this is a soul. So you go back to basics, revise it, that this is a soul. I don't have a physical relationship with this person, I just have a spiritual relationship, and I can be sweet to that soul, and practice that, and then you will be able to be sweet with that person. So if you pay attention to imbibing or upholding a divine quality all day, and attention, it flickers. So you may decide in the morning that I want to be a little introverted today, self-reflect and not come too much into vacha, and I don't want to talk too much. But then in the noon, when you check yourself, you will see that you are coming into too much words. And then again you make yourself pay that attention. No, I have decided that I want to be antarmukhi today, so let me be that. So you have to pay attention again and again and revise your goal, that I have to pay. So that's why divine virtues are inculcated with attention, but the seed is knowledge and yoga. So you need very good knowledge, very good yoga power, so that you are in the capacity to be virtuous. And then you pay attention to virtues and those virtues emerge. And when you pay attention for a long time, then that divine virtue becomes your sanskar. And then you don't need to pay conscious attention, it has become your sanskar. But you have to pay attention to it for a very long time for it to become your sanskar. So, and probably for this whole lifetime. Because you see, Maya will again come and it will confuse you and you will not remember. So, it's very important to check whether they are vices. It's very important to check whether you have imbibed divine virtues, because you cannot go to Satyug with vices without divine virtues. But in order to inculcate it, it's a totally different path. So checking is one part and changing is another part. Sometimes we are living in the illusion that there are no virtues, there are only divine, there are no vices, there are only divine virtues. But that illusion will not help. You have to check and then change. And for that change, these are the steps: knowledge, yoga, and attention. Okay, Om Shanti.